welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I'd show you my work in progress crocheting a granny square blanket. I've chosen Lincraft Cakes as my choice of yarn. I love the colours in it. It's a composition of acrylic and wool. It's about 350 metres, 200 grams. And the colour is, get it into focus, it's Mint Fairy. It's a combination of blues and some whites. I love the colour combo. Just beautiful colours. Nice transitions from one colour to another. And it's got a nice blend of wool and acrylic. So it's a nice warm blanket. I'm just going off by hand, just crocheting, adding balls, see how big I can get it. Why not? Here's a nice shot of progression of it. It's really nice colours. I'm really enjoying crocheting this. It's a simple granny square stitch. It keeps repeating. It's fairly simple to do. I've also chosen a size crochet hook 5mm. It states on the yarn ball you can use 5mm with it, so I went with it. It's a good size. It's not that big, it's not that small. You still get the flexibility in your blanket. It's not too tight. Really, basically, it's a simple stitch. You're doing 3 DCs into one space. There goes 1 DC, second DC, and a third DC. DC is double crochet, and it's separated by a chain 1. Go to your next space, which is your chain 1 that you created on the previous row. You do your 3 double crochets into that space, and you separate them by a chain 1. Find your next space, do 3 double crochets, 1, 2, actually got enough yarn there, pull some yarn out, and your 3 DC, followed by a chain 1. Find your next chain space, 1 DC, 2 DC, 3 DC, followed by a chain 1 to separate them. If you don't do the chain 1, it probably most likely be too tight. If you do 2 chains in between 3 DCs, it'll be too loose and it won't look good. So chain 1 is a good choice. And that's all you're doing is repeating 3 DCs, 3 double crochets into each chain 1 space of your previous row. Now here I am, I've finished off a round and I'm coming up to join to the beginning of that round. So do your chain 1 and you join to your first DC. What I did, I chained 2, so do a slip stitch to your chain 2. Chain 2 is not too loose. If I did a chain 3 at the beginning, it will just look too long and messy. So chain 2 is a good start. And what I like to do is start the next round in between the space of the 6 DCs. So I slip stitched to that point. And I do 3 double crochets, do 2 chains and 3 double crochets. That's your corner. So in your corners you do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 1 as your space, find your next chain 1 space and do 3 double crochets in that. Do your chain 1, find your next chain space, do 3 double crochets. I've got 1 double crochet, second double crochet and third double crochet in one space, chain 1, same thing in the next space, 3 double crochets, chain 1, next chain space, 3 double crochets, chain 1, and that's all you're repeating on your granny square blanket. Now your corners is where it increases and makes the blanket bigger. And you just keep repeating that. In each chain space you do 3 double crochets, chain 1. And that's all you're doing, is repeating that process. 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, next chain space, 3 double crochets, chain 1. You just repeat that all the way across. So what I'll do, I'll fast forward to the next corner and explain the corner. Okay, just before we get to the next corner, I like to show you a bit of a close-up of the 3 double crochets in the space. Let me just focus and get in close. Give me a second. Almost there. There we go. Okay. What we're doing is 3 double crochets in the next space. That's 1, that's the second one, and that's the third one. So you have your 3 double crochets, chain 1, find your next space, first double crochet, second double crochet, third double crochet. Chain 1, find your next space and repeat. First double crochet, second double crochet and your third double crochet. Chain 1. And we continue. Let's get to the corner. Okay, we're at the corner where it increases your blanket. So in that space we do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So that's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, chain 2, and another 3 double crochet in the same space. 1, 2, 3. And that's your corner. 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets into the same space in the corner. And you have 4 corners. So this will increase the size of your blanket as you go around. And we continue crocheting. Let's do some fast forward with a bit of music. Watch me crochet a bit. Don't forget the chain 1. Find your next space. There you go. 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1. Find your next space. 3 DCs. 1, 2, 3, and a chain 1. And you repeat that for each space along that side of your blanket. Then you reach another corner, you'll do 6 DCs separated by 2 chains. So 3 DC, 2 chain, 3 DC, that's your corner. And you repeat that process each round. Alright, you can watch me crochet for a bit. Fast forward it with some music. Okay, we've reached end of the round. Now what we do is join or slip stitch to the first DC that you see there. As I'm indicating, that's the first DC, and you want to slip stitch to the top, which is your second chain, because I did chain 2 there. Slip stitch, and that finishes off your round. Now I'll keep continuing because I want to make the blanket bigger, so I'll just continue with the new round. I'll do slip stitch next 2 stitches because I want to start in the center of that corner stitch, which is your chain 2. So I'll slip stitch into that space, and I do 3 DC, chain 2, 3 DC, chain 1. Second DC, third DC, see, 3 DCs, and then chain 2, and another 3 double crochets in the same space. So it's 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets into the same space in the corner, and that's your corner made. And to continue along the edges, chain 1, find your next space made with your chain 1 from previous round, and crochet 3 double crochets into the same space. Chain 1, find your next chain space, and again 3 double crochets, chain 1, and you keep continuing for how many rounds you want, how big you want the blanket. I'm not sure how big I want mine. I'm just continuing until it's the size that I like, that I'm happy with. Here just showing you that round that I made. It even changed colour through the process. It's a beautiful blanket. Nice colourway. It's called Mint Fairy Lincraft Cakes, and I bought it in Lincraft for $10. One ball will give you 200 grams. I'll post some pictures at the end of this video, and I'll also attach another video that will show how to start a granny square, so it will help you to start up. Alright, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time. Bye. Hello, welcome back again. I'd like to show you how to start off the granny square from the center and move out. Alright, just give me 1 second and I'll unravel this piece of square. the piece is unraveled. So what we start off with is a magic circle. So you put your piece of end of yarn over your hand, wrap it around your finger. You can pull up that first loop so you can get your hook under to pull that other loop through the first one. Hold it together, get your working yarn in your hand and make chain 1. Does not count as a stitch, just to tighten up the loop. You start off with chain 2, your first DC, which is your first stitch, followed by another 2 double crochets, followed by a chain 1. You repeat that 3 more times, so it gives you 4 corners. So you chain 1, do another 3 double crochets in the ring, and a chain 1. Apologies for being off the screen. Again, you do another 3 double crochets, two, 3, followed by a chain 1. I've got 3 there, 3 lots of 3 double crochets separated by chain 1, and you want 4 in the circle. So that's another lot I'm doing. I think that's the 4th one. Once you connect it, you'll start to see the square form, and it will be more apparent when you do the second round. So you can close up your magic circle. There you go. And it gives you a nice center. You can use this magic circle for many projects. So I've done my chain 1, and I'm going to join to the first DC that I made, which was a chain 2. So you slip stitch to the first DC that you made. Okay, slip stitch, grab the yarn, whoops. It's always a bit tricky because that stitch is always tight. Pull it through and create a slip stitch. And that's your first round. So you've got 4 3DCs separated by chain 1, and that's your center. Now to start off next round, you go to your first chain space. So what I do is slip stitch to that chain space 3 times, and then chain 2 for my first DC, do a second DC and a third DC. So you're doing 3 double crochets in that chain space. Do a chain 1, oh, my apologies, looks like we're doing corners, apologise for that. So what we're doing in each chain space is 3 DC, chain 2, 3 DC. That's your first corner made. Chain 1, find your next chain space and do the same. 3 DCs, 1, 2, 3, do a chain 2, and another 3 double crochets in the same space. So we're now creating 4 corners, and the square will be more evident. There you go, one side, chain 1, locate your next chain 1 space, and repeat 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. And that's another corner made. Chain 1. See how the square is forming? Chain 1. Find your next chain 1 space. 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Chain 2, because you're making a corner, and another 3 double crochets in the same space. There you go, little square made. Chain 1 and join to your first DC. My first DC was made up of 2 chains, so I join in the second chain of that. Always tricky, it's a bit tight, so give me a second to get there. And do a slip stitch, bring the yarn through. And through again. There's your little square made. You can even use it as a coaster. Use different yarns. It's cute, right? That's your second round. See? Right in the center. Small square. Now again, I like to start off in the next chain space in the corner. So I'll work my way, slip stitch 1, slip stitch 2, slip stitch in the space, and then do your first DC. I like to do a chain 2, nice and neat. Another 2 double crochets. So you're making a corner. Chain 2. And another 3 double crochets in the same space. And that's your corner made. Chain 1. Find your next chain space and do 3 double crochets in that chain space. 1, 2, 3. Do a chain 1 in between. Now another corner. So 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Do 2 chains. And 3 double crochets. 2 and a third. And again we have an edge. See how it's growing? So do another side, do a chain 1, find the next chain space, do 3 double crochets and a chain 1. Come across another corner, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets and a chain 1. You can see how your square is building up. The edge always increases by 1, 3 double crochet. You'll see that in the next round. Chain 1, find your next chain space on the edge, right there. And do another 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, find your next corner space, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 1. That's your corner made. So you can make another coaster with that sort of size for a bowl or a bigger mug. Chain 1, find your next chain space right there and crochet in 3 double crochets and do a final chain 1 and now you'll be joining to the beginning, your first DC. Mine was a chain 2, so I join at the top of the second chain. Just do a slip stitch. Again, it's a bit tight, so stretch it out a bit. Oops. Try again. Pull through. Try again. This happens. Always your first stitch is sort of a bit tighter. There we go. And pull through. And there's your little square. Look at that. You can finish off there and make a coaster. See, and that was your third round. As you're making the corners, you are increasing in size. So if you want to continue, I'll make another round. So what I like to do is slip stitch to the center space and do a corner. In the corner you do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 1. So chain 2 and another 3. Now what happens is, because it's increased, along that edge you'll have two chain spaces. And next round you'll have 3 chain spaces. Yeah, you get the picture? Next round 4 chain spaces. So it's growing on each round. So in the next chain space, 3 double crochet and a chain 1. Next chain space, 3 double crochet, chain 1. Now you're coming across a corner where there's 2 lots. You see that? Of 3 double crochets, so you make a corner. You do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets and a chain 1. So I'll just fast forward that. And it's the same. Okay, we're coming up on the last chain space there, doing a 3 DC and a chain 1. Now you join to the first DC, which is a chain 2. So join to the second chain with the slip stitch. Pull it through. It's a struggle. There we go. And pull through. There you go. And there's your little center starting off square. Alright. So that's like 4 rounds made. As you can see. So the next round, as you can see, it increases. On the first round there's 1. There's 2 of the 3 DCs on the second round. Third round will be 3 DCs between the 2 corners. Next round, 4 DCs between the 2 corners. So it's a repetitious repeat, and it will make your square grow. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye.